Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. I've got a fun haunted house album for you today that I designed for Country Craft Creations using their exclusive Midnight Ride paper collection, as well as 2 sheets from their Bewitching Hour collection. Had to think there for a minute to create this haunted house that actually has lights. I've dimmed the lights a little bit so that you can see it. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker maybe so that you can see the lights that actually glow through the window, and you can turn that on and off. I will have a separate walkthrough video for you so that you can see all the details, and this video is for the tutorial. And I want to ask that if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell so that you'll be notified every time I have a new video, and give me a thumbs up like so that my video will be in the search on YouTube more so that others will see it and also will find Country Craft Creations. So I appreciate if you do that. So stay tuned for the tutorial and make sure you check out countrycraftcreations.com for your supplies. Thanks. For this haunted house mini album, we're going to use the Midnight Ride Country Craft Creations exclusive paper collection called Midnight Ride. We're going to use, you'll want one whole collection of this. I probably won't use all of it, but we do want it to start with. And then to make a haunted house, I pulled one sheet from the Bewitching Hour so that I could fussy cut out just the little haunted house. So I wanted one of these haunted houses, so fussy cut that out, leave a little bit of the bottom here, cut all the way around the house, and leave a little tab here of the ground. Now, no, it doesn't go with this collection, but I wanted the haunted house, this particular one, and then I wanted the darker paper elements of the Midnight Ride, and I think it's going to look really cute in this haunted house album. So you're going to want that. If you don't have the Bewitching Hour paper collection from Country Craft Creations, you could probably cut out a haunted house, and it is about, let's see here, the widest, it's about 5 inches by 6 1/4. So you could cut one out with your Cricut or with an SVG file or something like that. But I wanted to use this cut apart, so we're going to use that. And then, in addition to the collection, of course, you're going to want your cardstock, which I'm using a pack of the black artisan cardstock. May not use the whole pack, but you definitely want the artisan black cardstock. You're going to need 1 sheet of the heavyweight chipboard to cut your chipboard pieces. I've already pre-cut mine. I will give you those measurements in the cutting list and then also on the video. And then other items I may be using is the Prima flowers in these colors that was available at Country Craft Creations. I also have, that I received in my design team package, seam binding ribbon in the purple, black, and the gold. And then I have one of these paper clips that you can order from Country Craft Creations that was custom made for the Midnight Ride. And then I'm going to see about using these little lights that are also available at Country Craft Creations. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this album. And to create our album cover, we need to cut our chipboard. We have 1 piece of 12 by 12 heavyweight chipboard. You will cut that to 6 by 8. You need 2 pieces, 6 by 8, and for the spine, 1 piece that's 2.5 by 8. Out of the black artisan cardstock, you need 2 pieces to wrap the chipboard. You need 2 pieces that are 8 by 10, 1 piece to wrap the spine that's 5.5 by 10, and then 1 for the support piece that's 4.5 by 8, and then you also need a score tape sheet that's 4.5 by 8, and go ahead and put that on the back side of this support piece. Now, I'm not showing you in this video how to assemble your album cover. I'm going to refer to my basic album cover tutorial video that I have here on my channel. I've given you the sizes. It's also in the cutting list down below where you click on the link that you can print up. You're going to want spacers, one of the 1.5 by 12 and two of the 1 inch by 12. If you don't have these from Country Craft Creations, you can cut these out of heavyweight chipboard. So these are 12 inch by 1. You need two of those and one that is 1.5 by 12. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble mine, and I'll join you here with my finished album cover. It will be plain. It won't be patterned or anything. And so go ahead and click on the link in my description below of the video on how to assemble an album cover if you don't know how to do that. So I have my cover made. We should have this completely made. And then I went ahead and picked the papers that I want for my cover. And I'm going to lay this flat so I can put pattern paper on the outside. Let me grab my ink. So I'm going to ink the edges. So I cut two pieces of the same paper, and I cut it so that I could get the Haunted Halloween and then the buggy and the horses on the back with the spiders and the bat. So this goes on the back. This one goes on the front for the Haunted Halloween. And I'm just going to ink these. Now I like to have a very, very narrow border with my pattern papers. I've just recently started doing that. You can cut your pattern papers however the length and width that you want. I'm going to, in the cutting guide, when I give you the pattern papers, I may not always include that. I'm going to give you the measurements that I use. You can adjust that. I'm cutting mine only 1/8 of an inch smaller than the height and the width because I want a very narrow margin here. If you want an eighth of an inch border, then you would cut yours a 1/4 inch smaller. So you just adjust it the way you want it. In here in this section, I do cut it the actual width of the spine, so that's 2.5, and then I do 7 7/8. And these two pieces for the cover are 5 7/8 wide by 7 7/8 tall. So I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on my pieces and go ahead and test it. I love the spiders, but I wanted that haunted house too. So just have to use the spiders on the spine and possibly somewhere else in the book. Okay, so there we got this on there. We're going to burnish this down. So I'm just going to line, and since it's almost the exact size, I just like where it's got a very narrow black border around it. Set up a little bit. There we go. Burnish that really well. We don't want any warping on this cover. Haunted Halloween. Love that. That's the orange and the black. Okay. So do that. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my spine piece down, and I'm using again the same paper. I did have to cut into a second sheet, but I still have the majority of it left. Cut a 2.5 inch strip off of it and then cut it down to the 7 7/8. So this fits in because I do that because I want to make sure I'm not having too much gap on here. So let's just get that lined up. And we burnish that really well. Isn't that cute? Spiders. Love it. And then here we're going to put the back one on. I'll always do this now because I don't want to cut into paper that I intended to use for my cover and then realize I don't have what I wanted. So I'm going to, I always try to do this first. I'm not doing any decorating until later. And then we're just going to push this one down. And the next thing we'll do is we'll start on our pages. And I am going to use the L hinge on this one rather than a hidden hinge. So the hinges will be made when I do the pages. So let's just burnish this down. They will be made out of the black Artisan cardstock. And there's the album cover, just like that. And it's all ready for the pages that will go here on the inside. For our 2 album pages that will have short pockets, and then also for the 2 flaps on the inside, front cover, inside back cover, you have one on each end, we need to cut 4 pieces of cardstock that is 7.5 by 6. So we have 7.5 by 6, and we're going to score, put the 6-inch at the top, and we're going to score at a 1/2 inch. I'm just showing you on one. So you will do all 4 of these the same. 1/2 inch score on the 6.5 inch side. Then you go ahead and fold and burnish that. And this makes the hinge, the L hinge. So you'll have 2 that have no pocket. That will be on the inside cover and then the back cover. And you'll have 2 where we're going to add pockets. So for the pockets, we're going to cut 2 that are 6.5. These are calling these short pockets by 4.5. And we're going to put the 6.5 in at the top, and we're going to score at a 1/2 inch. And at 6, turn it to the 4.5 inch side and score it just a 1/2 inch. Make this, we'll do 2 of these. Of course, I'm just showing you one. And then here at the corner where they intersect, the 2 score lines, you're just going to cut across at an angle like that. And then we're going to fold. And you'll do both pockets exactly the same. You're going to fold your 1/2 inch tabs. And you want to make sure that they do not intersect here on the back side. You don't want any bulk there. So I'm just going to fold this one and check it. Okay, that one's good. So move this out of the way. And now we'll burnish these tabs. Make sure they're nice and flat here for your pocket. And it fits right on this page. Now we need to make a notch. So you can use your envelope punch board, or you could use, if you want a decorative die across the top, like spider webs or something like that. Or you can make a notch with a thumbnail punch notch, or 1/2 of a circle, like a 1-inch circle. So this is, I'm going to use the envelope punch board for mine. And I'll also use it on the pattern paper when I pattern it. But this finished size is 5.5. So 2.5 is 5, and 2 3/4 is 5. So the 2 3/4 with the hinges folded down. So I put this in, and I put the left edge at 2 3/4. And then I just punch. And that gives me that notch right there that I like. And then we're ready to put that on there. We're going to need some Scotch tape. I'll take my page, and I'll take my glue, and I'm just going to put glue on the 1/2 inch bottom tab. And then we're going to fit it right here with our hinge on the left. See it right here? We fold it under. We're going to put this, the left side right up against that, and make sure we're flush, the fold bottom flush with the cut of the page. So you might have to move it around a little bit and double check, make sure that it is all lined up here at the bottom. Okay, and then you burnish really well. Open it up, and let's burnish the inside of that tab where it's stuck down. Then we take our tape, take a strip of tape that will fit along that, and on that edge of that hinge, we just put the tape so that the tag insert that we make will not hang on that cardstock at the bottom. So now we have that. And we'll take the glue, and we're going to put it on the 1/2 inch tabs on the sides. And we're going to seal up that pocket. So this goes up. And line it up on the sides. Make sure it's nice and lined up. We don't want anything sticking out where it doesn't belong. And then go ahead and burnish. So that is your pocket page. You have 2 of those with the short pocket. And then you have 2 that are just the flaps, the same size, but nothing attached to them. Unless you wanted pockets, you could certainly do that if you wanted to. So There is the short pocket page ready to be patterned. To create our base pages with the pocket sleeve for our album, we're going to have 3 of those in the album. And I'm going to show you how to make one. You're going to cut 3 pieces of cardstock that are 7.5 by 11 3/4, and you're going to cut another piece for your sleeve that is 6.5 by 8. So this bigger piece, which is your base page actually, and it has the L hinge on it to put it into the spine of the book, we're going to score at a 1/2 inch on the 11 3/4 inch side, and then we're going to scoot over and score at 6, and then skip and score at 6 1/4. So we're going to have just a 1/4 inch spacing gusset on this base page here, and we have a 1/2 inch hinge. So we have that. So let's set that aside for now, and I'm going to show you how to assemble one page, and then they're all going to be the same, and then you will pattern them. So your pocket sleeve, you're going to cut 3 of these that are 6.5 by 8. We're going to score the 6.5 side first. We're going to score at a 1/2 inch, and then we're going to score at 6. And then turn and score your 8 inch side at a 1/2 inch. So all 3 of your base page sets will be made this way. Okay, so take your pocket, and where the score lines intersect here at the bottom, I'm just going to make an angle cut. Then we're going to fold up our score lines and burnish them, just like this. We're going to have 3 of these so that we can put tall inserts in to kind of make them spooky. We're going to have one that's a haunted house that I fussy cut out of one of the papers from the Bewitching Hour, even though this album is done with the Midnight Ride from Country Craft Creations. Now when your corners are folded in, you want to make sure that they don't overlap. And so that's what you want on your pocket here. So we got a good crease there. And on our base page, this is the L hinge, so I'm just going to fold it. It may change its direction when I put it in the book, but for now I'm just going to score it, burnish it both ways so that it's training the paper. And I'm going to put it back this way. And then we have our flap that we make. We score both, burnish both lines really well to get that 1/4 inch space to accommodate what we put inside the pages. So we have that like that, and then it can open up like this, or whichever way you want. Now we're going to put our pocket, we're going to turn this over. So I'm going to open it up. I have my hinge here on the right for now, and I have this space here. And this is where we're going to put our pocket sleeve, and it should fit exactly between the score line of the hinge and the score line of the 1/4 inch, the inside one here. You don't want to cover the 1/4 inch space. Okay, so we're going to work on the bottom tab first. So they're all 3 folded the same way, of course, on the back side of your pocket. So you put glue on this bottom one. And then we're going to fold this, and we're going to attach it right along that score line, and right along the fold of the pocket goes right along the cut edge of this flap section or page here. So we'll make sure it's nice and straight. Burnish it really well. That glue there, open it up and burnish. Then we're going to take some Scotch tape, and we're going to take a strip of that, and we're going to place it over the seam or the edge of this pocket. You don't want to go into the scored sections or the flap here or the hinge piece. Burnish that in. What that does is that seals that up and makes it so that whatever we insert will not snag. Now we're ready to fold these back again to the back. Make sure they're burnished. And we're going to take our glue, we're going to put it on each tab here to seal up this pocket. Now I'm not putting a notch on this pocket because I want it to look like a whole page of the album, and I just want the insert to come in and out of the top, kind of like a hidden pocket. So you fold this back up and then make sure you're putting it down nice and straight. You don't go into that 1/4 inch space here, and you don't go into your hinge here. So we just make sure, burnish that. Now have it straight on the bottom here. I'm going to flip it, and if I see just a tiny bit maybe sticking over, it's like you can't hardly see it, but I just trimmed that little bit off if it is. So now we're going to burnish this really well. We have a pocket sleeve on our page, and this is going to go in that album like that, and then we have this 1/4 inch space here. So now we're going to pattern our pages, our flaps and our pages. You do want to cut all of them the same size. So for our pattern paper, I'm just checking my notes, we're going to cut 18. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Choose your pattern papers that you want. You can make them coordinate like in the inside if you want, or you know, different across from each other. You're going to cut 18 that are 5 3/8 wide by 7 3/8 tall. So I do 1/8 of an inch shorter on all my pages. On the inside here, do not put any, don't tack your paper down, because we're going to do a closure flap. And then on your very first one, don't do the front, because we're going to put one magnet in. You might want to take your 3 pages, and on one just write magnet, and then on the inside, I believe that's what I'm going to do. Let me double check my notes. So yes, on the inside of each of these, you open up the flap. So this on the inside, we're going to put a swing closure. So do not pattern these yet. You can go ahead and pattern everything else, and you can also go ahead and pattern those pocket ones. So this is page set 1, and it's going to need a magnet. So I'm going to go ahead and do the magnet on this one. And I'm going to lay my paper. Let me open this up so we can see. So what I have done for this is I have made a magnetic piece to attach. It says beware over the spider webs. So this is going to fit right in here like this. And then this is going to go right there. So kind of centered down below, kind of off center. So about right in here, I'm going to put the magnet. So I'm going to take some glue. Okay, so make sure your magnet is facing the correct way. So this one's going to go down like this, about right there. I'm going to put some tape over it to secure it and to seal up the edges. Let me put another, this is skinnier tape, so I'm going to put one at the top and the bottom. Just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this piece of paper down, and I'm using the spider webs. So glue on all the edges and some across as well, because we want to secure this magnet down here. And then line this up. And burnish, and rub it with my hands, and then also burnish like this, and get everything attached down good on the edges, nice and smooth. And then this magnetic piece, now all I did to make this was fussy cut out one of the tags, attached the magnet on the back side of it, and then matted it and fussy cut around black cardstock so that it can just attach right there. And you could probably attach a picture or something underneath it if you wanted to. So that is the top flap there. To go inside our two pockets that we have, the two short pockets, we're going to make two booklets out of cardstock. So you need one sheet of cardstock for this, and they're going to be 6 inches tall by 12 inches. I've already made these two, and you're going to put the 12-inch in your scoreboard and score at 4 and 8, and then fold them together like this. And I'll probably put pattern paper just on the front, and these will tuck inside of each pocket. Like I was saying, I used one sheet of this dot from Bewitching Hour. That's optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to use your cut aparts on that. But I wanted the dot because I wanted to distinguish between that. And then I used the potion bottles cut apart from Midnight Ride. And so that's the booklet. Now I'm leaving the rest blank without any pattern paper so you can utilize this size for your photos. So this just slides in there. So that's that page set. And then this one I patterned with the moons here on the pocket part and here at the top. And again, I used the dot for the booklet, and then I used this cut apart from the Midnight Ride with the moon and the witch in the haunted house. And again, left these all blank on the inside and on the back to utilize it for photos. And then when you got a little fold out booklet that attaches to the page. So I've already made one here, and I've got the other one ready, that are 4 inches by 12, and we're going to score the 12-inch side, push that all the way in the top. We're going to score at 3, 6, and 9. Okay, and then we're just going to fold this up and burnish it. And you can fold it up any way you want to. Just one back side is going to touch down into the page. And we're going to have a closure piece for it. So let me move this out of the way. So you take one of your cut aparts, and I've chosen Believe in the Magic for this one. And this other one's going to be the kids carving their jack-o'-lanterns. So I'm just going to glue that on, ink the edge a little bit here. And I have been inking my pattern papers off camera. So put that on there. Let's take the glue, and we're going to glue this down on the front. Now I've already made the swing closure piece for this other one, but I'm going to show you what I did, or how I did it. So let's burnish this down, wipe off all the excess glue. So I'm just putting the cut apart on the front side. I'm leaving all the rest just cardstock, unless I wanted to go back in and add some of my colors, you know, for contrasting, or if I want to just have room for the pictures. So that's the little booklet there. So in this one, I'll show you real quick. This is the chipboard piece that I made out of regular tags from the collection. You cut out the one you want, and then I glued it to black chipboard. If you don't have black chipboard, the regular kind will work. You just ink your edges in black, because this back side is not going to show. So let me take this one and I'll show you. So I've already fussy cut this out, and I'm going to glue it onto the chipboard. And again, like I said, I'm using black chipboard because I have some of that in my scraps, but you can also use the regular color chipboard to make that, and then you just ink your edges in black. Use a Copic marker or Sharpie or just an ink pad. So let's burnish that on. Now to cut this, I'm going to have to fussy cut through chipboard. I use my Tim Holtz scissors. They're really good and easy to handle at cutting around paper and through the chipboard. And so you just cut it and then round the sections you need to. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but you know, as neatly as you can, following along that edge. Cut a little bit of the paper away on that one, but that's okay. Just wherever my scissors want to go, round this. So this goes here. So let's take this one here first. So this is the paper. You're going to attach it to the paper, not through your page. So I think that I wanted this one to the side here underneath the cat. And this is going to peek here. So I'll put it as far over as I can, still being on the paper. And then this will attach here and we'll swing up and off. Okay, so let's glue this on. So I'm going to glue it to the back side. So I have I have the front folded down, and so it's going to be like this. So I have both sides. So when I fold it up, I'm from the opposite of the front to the back side. I'm going to put my glue. Just however you want it to open up is fine. And I'm using the longer tags to make my chipboard element to hopefully hold both sides down a little bit better. So I don't want it all the way to the edge. I want about a 1/16 of an inch there. Center it here on the bottom. Open this up and burnish it down. Okay, and we're going to close this up. Now, we're going to have to attach this so that when it swings, it's going to clear that little booklet and it'll pop open. So about right here on the bottom. Let's see here. Okay, right in this area, right here. I'm going to put a mark with my pencil. Oops, that I want my hole about right here. And then I'm going to take my crocodile punch in the smallest hole. And on the end that I want to attach to the paper, I'm just going to go in and punch kind of centered here on the end. Right there. And then I'm going to punch where I marked my hole. If I can reach that far. Almost to it. Now then we lay this back, the hole. We take our brad and we insert it through the chipboard piece we made and through the hole in the paper. And you see it's going to kind of hold that all down together. We're going to open these prongs on the back. Press them good, and that holds that down pretty good. This kind of pops up on the side, but I'm okay with that because it's going to be, you know, in the book, but then this is going to slide completely off and we can open the whole thing just like that. So let's grab the page that this goes in, which is this one. So it's going to go here on the inside where the pocket is. So it's going to glue right there. So we put glue on the back side. Fit it in among the fold lines at the bottom. And see, because we put it on the paper, it's already attached the hinges. So burnish this all down really good. Paper. So put the glue on the back side of your fold out. Okay, and we're just going to place it right in here, about a 1/4 inch from the edge, I guess, and 1/4 inch from the bottom. Open it up and burnish that right in there. I'm going to close it up. So now we're going to put this where it's going to hold it, maybe a little better. About like that. So I'm going to put it about at this pumpkin stem right about here. So I'm going to go ahead and punch the hole in my chipboard piece that I made. Got my brad. Now I'm going to get my big bite. Or you can just, in case you don't have a big bite, let's just poke this hole with a piercing tool. First I got to find it. I have several different kinds. Piercing tool, this will work right here. So I'm going to put my paper on this foam mat, and where I marked it on this jack-o'-lantern, about right there, I'm just going to poke a hole. So that works, because that brad will go through there. And we place the chipboard over it, and we put the brad in, and then we open it up, the prongs on the back side of the paper, press them down really good, and then that kind of holds it down pretty good there. So bend that a little bit, and then grab our page set, and this is going to go right in here. So even though I moved it over, it still kind of pops up a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Just burnish it really good to lay flatter. And then we're going to put the glue on the back of the paper. We're going to lay it down. And burnish it in. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Bring this over and then swing this back over it. And there's that in there, and then this will close. And I have that on the front. So I have the album cover. We have not finished the inside of the covers yet. We will do that later. And we're going to put our pages in. So this is the first one. Now it is going to go in about 1/4 inch from the fold, 1/4 inch from the bottom, and 1/4 inch from the top. This first one is. And I'm going to put it in with glue. So first I'm going to get some marks of where things are going to go. So hold up your cover, place the ruler in there so you can get that 1/4 inch mark right there. Slide it down and get it on this other end too. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw a pencil line from one mark to the other. This one's crooked. Don't want it crooked. We don't want our pages crooked, so let's line it up again. Okay. Okay, that's better. Then I'm going to do a mark down here, 1/4 inch from the bottom, and 1/4 inch from the top. And let's see how that fits in there. Yep. Okay. So this is our hinge for our page. And this one's going to be folded back underneath. This is the front. It's your fold of your hinge is going to attach right along that pencil line. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm putting glue on this 1/2-inch tab back here. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and set this magnet aside. I'm going to line it up right along the fold, along that pencil line, so I don't see it, at the bottom of it, right along that bottom mark and that top mark. I'm going to open this up so I can see right there, right there. Okay, so then we're going to open this up back this way. It's black, you can't really see it. You're going to burnish it right here. L hinge pages are kind of like doing waterfalls, except it's pages over here, so it's out of your way. But the hinge is going to fold again out this way. The fold of the page is going to go right up against that other hinge line, the cut line of this one you just put down. So fold this back. You put your glue on your 1/2-inch tab, and we're going to butt that up along the line and get it down and reach under there and burnish. Got all the pages in except the very last one. Initially I had planned on just 4-page sets, but there's plenty of room, so I'm adding this last one here. So this is the one with the witch's brew and the black cat's only swing tab. So this is going to go right here on the end. So I'm going to take my glue, and I have my 1/2-inch tab hinge flipped back towards the back side like this, and then I'm going to line it up with the last page that I put on right up against the cut end. So there's a 1/2-inch space right here. So put it in nice and straight as I can, 1/4 of an inch there on the bottom and the top. I'm just making sure real quick that we've got it all where it's supposed to be. There. Okay, I'm going to open this up, burnish right here, and I need to open this where this hinge is. Whoops, it did slip. We don't want that. We want it the 1/2-inch, full 1/2-inch, and then we're going to burnish. So you see there's it's just inside of the fold of the book, and of course I will add pattern paper here to finish this up. So there's the last page. So I have all 5 of them in. We have 3 that have the flip out with the swing tabs and the 1/4 inch here. We have 2 with pockets like this. They're just a single page with pocket. This one's the swing tab one, 1/4 inch. This is the pocket one, and this is the last one with the swing tab. So now let's go ahead and get the inside of our album done. Inside covers. For the front and back cover, we have 2 of the flaps. These are made just like the ones with the short pockets. So initially we had 4 of these made, and we patterned the inside and the outside. So one goes on the back and one goes on the front, right here in alignment with the pages. So I'm just taking my glue and I'm putting it here on the back side of this hinge here, and I'm going to line it up about 1/16 of an inch from the edge, so it's clearly still away from the fold, and just kind of make sure it's 1/4 inch from the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to burnish that in. I'm going to lift it up, burnish inside, and we're going to put the back one on the same way. Of course, it's going the other direction. So glue on the 1/2 inch. Tab here. And the same thing, about a 1/16 of an inch from the edge of the cover. Make sure it's straight, and about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, so it's lined up with the pages. 1/4 inch at the top. Let's burnish that down, and then we lift this up and burnish on the inside. Okay, so we have those. Now we're ready to pattern this part. So I'm going to lift this one up. Now I went back and used what I had left of the dots from the cut aparts of the Bewitching Hour by Country Craft Creations, and these are cut to I think I wrote it down here. Side cover, you want 2 that are 5 7/8 wide by 7 7/8 tall. Now this is going to go over that hinge and finish this inside of this album. It's almost to the fold of the album cover. So we're just going to take our glue. And again, all these measurements will be in your cutting list that you can download by going to the link that will be in the description of this tutorial video. And then you can print it up. It's in my Google Docs, so you can print that up. And now make sure we're not over this fold here and still within the area here of the album fold. So then we burnish this. Finishes that off nicely. And I like the way this looks when it closes. And then we're going to open this back here. We're going to do the same thing here. So let's put our glue on. And then we'll put our tags inserts into the 3-page sleeves that stick out above the album. So this one here, make sure it's not into the fold of this little flap. And then also clear here. To create the witch tag, I loosely fussy cut the witch, the broomstick with the cat, down to the top curve of the moon. Then I kept straight about 5 inches wide, and this side's about 5 inches up, and this side is about, because I used the left side on another part of the album, so this one's about 6 inches up. So I took a 12-inch piece, taking a 12-inch piece of the cardstock, and I want to double this. So I'm going to glue this down onto the black cardstock. So make sure I get glue on all the little pieces that stick out of the witch here at the top on the back side. Just kind of go in on the broomstick as well. Okay, and then all this in here. And of course the bottom part is going to be glued down also. And this will be one of the inserts along with the haunted house. We'll be doing that one too. So I'm just going to line this up right across the bottom here and burnish it all down. So you want to put this on cardstock to make sure that it's strong enough. Just the printed paper won't be strong enough for a tag or an insert into your page. So then I'll let that dry for a second here. Wipe up any glue around the edges because I'm going to re-fussy cut that. I'm going to take my bigger scissors here and cut the straight edge. I'm just leaving a very, very, very tiny, clean my scissors off here, very tiny border of cardstock around that. So cut to the straight there. And then I'm going to go in here and cut down for the straight. And this, so I can get to it. There we go. So I'm just cutting the straight sides of the cardstock, leaving about a 1/16 of an inch margin for now. I think that's probably what I'm going to keep. And then I'm going to fussy cut the rest of it out to get the shape of the moon here. And I use smaller scissors for this. So I'm going to cut this down so that I can get into it a little easier. Save this for tags or something. I'm going to go in here and cut along the witch's broom handle. And then her hand. So you just fussy cut all the rest of this. You can leave a small border if you want, or just cut right along what I left before. I had left a little bit of the blue from the pattern paper as my border. So I just follow along with that. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. The witch should stick out of the top of the pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video so you don't have to just sit here and watch me fussy cut this out. Okay, so there's that tag for the insert of the pocket. And other pages to create the insert tag with the house. Remember, this was fussy cut out of the one sheet from the Bewitching Hour for this haunted house. So I cut this out. And I left a little bit of the bottom on there, but I think I'm probably going to cut that off. Okay. And then here on the bottom, so this measures 6. So we're going to have to trim it down just a little bit. I'm going to trim it on this side here because our page is 5.5. So I'm going to trim it down to just about 5. Again, I want to put a photo of a matting of patterned paper. So this is 5 1/4. And we'll say about, straighten this one up just a little bit right here. About 6. We're going to cut it 6 1/4. So let me pick out my mat or paper, patterned paper. Okay, so I chose the purple, which is the back side of one of the cut-aparts. You get 2 cut-apart sheets in your collection, so I saved one to use the cut-aparts, and this one I did cut the purple out because I really like the purple. I've already inked it, so I cut mine, and you will measure and cut yours to fit whatever your mat ends up being. But mine's 5 1/8 by 6 1/4. I'm going to glue this down. This is going to be a nice place for a large photo. So put that right here. Now you're going to see that we've got that space where I cut away the ground underneath that little house. Could have left it on there, but like I said, it was a lighter color than I really wanted. And I love to use this stitched looking strip that comes on your title sheet here. And this is also the same kind of paper as the paper that you get in your collection. So I just cut one off the bottom right here. And I'm just going to glue that, measuring, and I'm going to snip it where I need it, right there. And I'm going to glue that on the bottom of that house. And that just gives a separation there and a bit of orange color in there. I really like that. Okay, so we just fix that there. And that section, oops, I need to go up a little higher. That section is fixed right there. Wipe off that glue. Okay, so there is my house tag that's going to go inside the second pocket of my haunted house mini album. I forgot that I wanted to put lights in the windows of my haunted house. So on the back side, of course, this will be all covered up, and I'm just using Scotch tape right now if I need to adjust it, and then I will probably cover it with clearer, stronger packing tape. But I taped the little power pack down. You pull the little clear thing out, you turn it on. See, this is your on and off. So you want to make sure that's on the edge where you can get it. And I'm going to be covering this with another piece of cardstock on the back, so it'll be finished, and then this will insert into the album. Should have plenty of room because I did a half-inch, you know, the tabs in there.
Once you have the power pack attached, then you're going to weave the wires and the little lights. You want to tape it so that there's a light behind each little window so that it shines through the pattern paper. So I will be doing that with Scotch tape on the back, and then I'm going to, instead of adding cardstock to the back, I'm going to add, probably it'd be easier to use another piece of the purple pattern paper. I will cut that to fit. And so here I'm showing you, if you turn out the lights or dim the lights, you can see the little lights in the door. Put like 4 in the door and then 1 in each window. So I'm going to just keep winding these in and taping them in. They're really nice flat little lights, and they will shine through the paper.
I've got it all wired. Oh my gosh, I just love this. So on the back, okay, so I've worked with it. I've used a little bit of foam tape, a real narrow or thin foam tape in some of the areas where I needed, and I've glued and clipped. It's going to have some spots where it's not going to be completely sealed, and it's not going to be smooth because we've got like the element here that has to have an opening here. So if that bothers you, don't do the lights. But I love the lights, so to me it's worth the sacrifice. So I can't wait till it dries and I can put it in to my pocket to see how it looks. So this I'm going to let dry. I rounded the corners up here. I rounded the corners down at the bottom. As you can see the, I don't know if you can see, but see that light there? That's the raised part there. That's going to be okay, I think. You can put a cut apart here or something if you don't want to put a photo on that. So I'm going to let that all dry and then see if I need to add a little bit more adhesive in any places. So again, if you don't like it not being perfectly flat or smooth or having the gaps or anything, don't do the lights. But I really love how the lights look right now. So I also glued this cut apart here on the bottom. So let me see if we can turn out some lights, maybe. Don't know. Turn that one out. And there you can see the lights pretty much shining. Got one other light I can turn off and show you the little lights through the windows of the haunted house. Okay, so there they are. They're glowing through the little windows, through the patterned paper. So you just tape them on each little light where you want it to glow, and that's what it ends up looking like. It's pretty cool, huh? Okay, so this will fit into one of the pockets. To make the third and final insert tag for the album, because I want to stick up beyond the other two, I cut this one out of cardstock. It is 5 1/4 wide by 11 inches tall. Then I matted it with this piece of paper that has the horse and the carriage and the spiders and the bats and the spider web. and it is 5 1/8 wide by 10 7/8 tall, and I rounded all 4 corners. Then I fussy cut out of scraps of paper some of the potion bottles, matted them to cardstock, and cut them out so that they're stronger. One of the owls, and this is from the tags for the moon here. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue these potion bottles at an angle here at the top, just on the bottom, right here. Wipe some of the excess glue off here. So go ahead and glue those on and burnish them down. And then I'm going to put the moon, I think, here in the corner. So just at the bottom of his face, glue right here, and then I'll burnish that. And then the owl is going to just sit right in here. So on the bottom of the owl as well. Just like that. Okay, wipe off the excess glue, press him on good, burnish it, make sure they stick good. So that's the tag. So you could put pictures here. I'm going to leave this plain on the back, because you could also add photos back here of any excess glue. So let's grab the book. So I've already got these 2 tags in. I've got the witch. I trimmed it down so that the moon goes all the way in, because I wanted her a little bit shorter than the house. But when you pull it out, there's the moon. Oops, let me turn it where you can see. So there's the moon when you pull the witch out. And then, of course, the haunted house that lights up. And then in the last hinge pocket page, this third one goes in. And because I made it taller, you see everything sticks up above the house. And I love how that's turning out. Okay, so I'm going to run through real quick the pattern papers that I used. You can use it in any order you want. It doesn't have to be just like mine. You can make them match front and back, yeah, the way you want it. So on the pattern, I use the Haunted Halloween with this haunted house and the bats on the front, spider webs and spiders on the spine, or you should do that in the tutorial. The horse and buggy here, the spiders and the bats, the same that's on that tag. Now, if you don't like this black back here behind it, you could certainly cut another piece of paper and mat on that, which I might do later if I have enough, or you can just leave it for your photos. So when you open it up on the inside, we have this flap with the candy canes, the purple, and then this opens up. We got the little girl in her costume with the black cat and the pumpkins, and then the dot. This dot is from the Bewitching Hour collection, Country Craft Creations. Then we have the magnet Beware with the spider webs. This flap opens. I used the pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns with this green, and then I used this cut apart here. I'm not going to unfold these right now. So these have a 1/4 inch. I don't think I'm going to cover those. I will use scraps to cover inside here, the spaces. Here I have the moon and the moon facing each other. And then I use the happy haunting with the dots from the Bewitching Hour there. And of course, this house is from the Bewitching Hour. If you're looking for that, you can have this haunted house, but I wanted this one with the windows for the lights. The next page, I used this carnival look, this haunted house and the ghost. This flips open. And then we have the carnival scene again, the trick-or-treats, and then this cut apart here and the pumpkins. So then that one closes. We have the candy canes again on the purple. We have the potion bottles, the lightning, the little witches with their cauldrons. We have this charm clip here, and this booklet has the potion bottles and the dot from the Bewitching Hour. And then here we have the pumpkins and the little girl in her costume again. Some more potion bottles, the witches in their cauldrons, witches brew on this cut apart here. Of course, the bats and the spider web up there. And then I have this pumpkin scene here. Oh, the jack-o'-lanterns and the children. More potion bottles on this flap. This opens up. We have the carnival-looking cats and the jack-o'-lanterns and the dot again. So that's my choices of the pattern papers. Any of them will go in any way perfectly. this is pretty much, my witch keeps trying to bend here. I'm going to have to put a little more something right there on her hand. I did strengthen the broom a little extra, so I'm going to put another piece of a reinforcement right in there where her hand is, because I'm going to bend it. But I love how it looks. You can pull your your haunted house up a little bit more if you wanted to. So I'm going to go through and add some decorating details like cut aparts, tags throughout my book. And then of course I will have a showcase, show and tell walkthrough for you to show you exactly how I finished it all. This pretty much concludes the tutorial on how to make the basic part of this album. You will cut strips if you want to cover these 1/2-inch sections in here. No magnets. The only magnets I used were the one here on the front, one set. That's optional. Yeah, that's the Haunted House mini album or album using Country Craft Creations exclusive paper collections. I used the full collection set of the Midnight Ride, and then I used only 2 sheets from the Bewitching Hour. So this is the tutorial. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like, so that others will find me in the search and find me and Country Craft Creations. Also, if you haven't, please subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified of my next video. And as always, shop at Country Craft Creations, where you're going to find these totally unique, awesome paper collections that are exclusive to Country Craft Creations, the wonderfully strong artisan cardstock, other supplies, magnets, art glitter glue, score tape sheets, score tape, and also there's some beautiful My Colors papers that will coordinate with this that you might want to add in for photo mats and such. So again, thanks so much for watching, and check back with me later for another project. Thanks. Bye-bye.